Alaskans, wherever you are, welcome to the Must Read Alaska Show. Coming to you from somewhere in Alaska. This is the place where we talk about, you guessed it, Alaska. Where we keep the mainstream media on their toes and where we are standing up for what's right in a world run by leftists. You can find out more by heading over to mustreadalaska.com and also checking out the Must Read Alaska YouTube channel for some really great content. But first, let's get this party started.
Welcome, everybody, to the Must Read Alaska Show. I'm your host, John Quick, coming to you live from somewhere in Alaska. Hope everybody's had an awesome day today. It is sunny out. The summer has finally peeked its head around the corner. That's very exciting. I want to thank everybody that listens, watches, and reads Must Read Alaska. If you want to help keep the lights on, just go to mustreadalaska.com. On the right-hand side, there's a little donate button. Every $5, $10, $100 helps keep the lights on here at Must Read Alaska. And if you want to sponsor the Must Read Alaska show, just email me, John, John, at mustreadalaska.com. Today, we are highlighting a business, Walden Bros. They are a custom apparel business here in Alaska. They recently had Senator Dan Sullivan stop by their business, I don't know, a month or so ago, which caught my eye, and thought I'd have them on the show to talk all about their business. So without further ado, Trent and Trevor, welcome to the Must Read Alaska show.
Hello, I'm here, but Trent got pulled away from one of our employee literally came out as soon as you were doing the countdown and was like, hey, I got a quick question. So Trent will be back in a second, but I'm Trevor and you'll see Trent in a moment.
Nice. Well, Trevor, I'm excited to have you on. Tell me a little bit about what inspired you guys to start Walden Bros in the first place.
To put it briefly, we wanted to start our own clothing brand. And so the costs to get things started were extremely high. And we figured, hey, how can we drive the costs down? So we bought our own machinery, quickly realized that it's hard to make people want or care about your brand. But people were asking us to make all of their stuff for their brand. And then it was like, okay, well, we could drive costs down for a lot of people and we could probably make a lot more money doing other people's brand than trying to build from the ground up with something that nobody knows anything about. So that's to put it briefly. There's a long, giant story, but I know we got a short time period, so I'll keep it that.
That's awesome. So what's been some kind of lessons you've learned along the way from, going from wanting to starting your own apparel company to making shirts for other people? I'm sure there's been some bumps and speed bumps along the way and some fun surprises. What are some of those lessons you've learned along the way?
Well, here's Trent. This is Trent.
Hey, Trent.
Some of the lessons, I would say that just keep pushing through. I mean, there's so many things that come up. We say it's just variable. Like every single day you walk in, you're like, this is my plan. And you can go to plan until something happens. It's kind of like the old Mike Tyson quote, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. So that's kind of how business has been for us, is we get punched in the face and you just have to learn to react quickly and try and do it with the best way. Sometimes you're wrong, but at least you respond to it.
I'd say big lesson for me learning wise was learning how to communicate in an organized fashion.
Yeah. We're going through that right now.
You've got one heck of a mullet there, Trent. I'll tell you that much.
Thank you.
That's pretty amazing.
Right.
For folks just listening in, you want to go check out the video of this podcast because Trent is rocking probably the biggest mullet I've seen in Alaska in a while. So
yeah,
it's pretty glorious.
Trent had it in like 6th grade. He had a mullet in 6th grade, and then chopped it off. And then when he was a freshman in high school, he was playing football, and all of his friends were like, "You need to bring your mullet back for senior year." So Trent started growing it his freshman year, and then it was so back to our brand thing. It was like the thing for our brand was Trent's mullet. It was like the calling card. And if Trent cut off his hair, then it was like, what the heck is that? What are these guys? And now all of our customers are like, you can never cut it. You can never cut it. So been rocking the mullet for what, 4 or 5 years now?
No, more than that. I've been out of high school for 4 years. Jeez. So like 6 years, 7 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's going.
Well, you guys recently had Senator Dan Sullivan stop by. Tell me about that experience and how that came to play. It's pretty cool. It's not every day you get a senator stopping by your business.
Yeah. So we do some embroidery work for SCI, Safari Club International. They have like their little Kenai chapter down here. And so we were doing embroidery for them. And the lady who's kind of the head of that down here is also like the liaison woman for if you call Senator Sullivan's office, then you get her, and then she brings whatever you want to talk about to Senator Sullivan. Well, so I was talking to a client and she walked in and she was like, is this a friend or is this a client? And I was like, well, I don't know. It could be a friend by the time we're done here, but and she goes, well, I'm going to bring my boss in tomorrow. And she had talked about how she'd worked for Senator Sullivan and da 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 da, but it didn't click in my brain when she said, I'm going to bring my boss in tomorrow. So I was just like, yeah, whatever. Okay, bring your boss in. And so Trent and I are driving into the office the next morning. And I was telling Trent, I said, Trent, I don't think she said she was going to bring her boss in. The only person that is above her would be Dan Sullivan. And Trent kind of chuckled and was like, yeah, she would probably let us know if a senator's going to come. And
you
so
guys are probably like, there's no way Dan's going to show up.
Yeah, there's no way that he's just going to drop in. Well, so conveniently, it was the NFL draft day. And so I was wearing my Steelers jersey to work, and our employee was wearing his Steelers jersey. And so he walks in and totally would never be just rocking a football jersey to work. But he walks in and we're wearing Steelers jerseys, and he's from Cleveland, Ohio. So that was kind of a funny giggle. But it was a fun experience. It was interesting to see, you see the guy on TV, you've seen him on political ads as you're a kid through TV and stuff. But when he came in, it was just you get kind of jittery because you'd never I don't know. I've met my favorite musician before, and I didn't feel that way whenever he came in. It was just, it was a fun experience.
Yeah, it was cool. We got to show him around, show him how everything's going, showed him to all the employees. That's pretty cool. Them getting to meet him too.
And Trent's a political nut too.
Yeah.
Trent loves reading into politics. He's not politicky per se, but he loves reading all that type of stuff. And so whenever he came in, I told Dan, I was like, he's gonna be quivering when he sees you.
I was trying to hide out in our embroidery room.
Yeah.
And then he said, Trent, come out here.
Yeah. So it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah. So I'm sure he showed a lot of interest in your business. Was it a good experience having him there for a little bit?
Yeah, he didn't. So whenever he came in, the lady that was for SCI kind of gave him a brief on hey, this is what these guys do. But then eventually we showed him our back with our printer, our embroidery machines and all of that. And it was pretty neat. He didn't obviously he's never seen this type of equipment or anything in this sector. So we showed him the printer and he was pretty shocked. He was like, wait, so this thing makes the prints that go through the oven. And then our employee was actually fulfilling an order as he was in there. So he got to see the whole fulfillment process and all that. Mm-hmm. But he was fun. It was fun. It was definitely a different vibe because he's a politician. So whenever he's talking to you, you feel the politician talk, but it wasn't, it was genuine. Yeah. That's one thing that I would pull away from it too.
Whenever we were talking about it afterwards, there were certain points where it was it almost felt like it was that was something it's a good repeat thing to say, where in a circumstance appears and it's a good answer to have. But then it was outside of the circumstance happened. It wasn't like that the entire time. It was there's one answer that was that felt like it could just be a repeat answer because it fits well for that scenario.
Yeah.
But outside of that scenario, it was just normal.
Yeah. He was a cool dude. He really was a cool dude. A lot of people are there. He said to us whenever he was leaving, he was like, we'll post you guys on our social media if you don't mind. Maybe get you guys some business or something. And I was like, oh yeah, that's totally fine. And he goes, well, if you might have a couple snowflakes coming at you. That was kind of funny. He was human in that respect of hey, there's going to be people. And then, so we got on there and looked at the comments on it. And there's things that are just not even pertaining to what he put in the caption and the pictures and all of that. It's completely different things that people are talking about. And I was like, God, it's so crazy. Imagine being him. Every time you post a picture, you post a picture of your wife and your kids with you, and then somebody's telling you, why are you not doing X, Y, and Z? Because I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing to see.
Yeah, it definitely, politics brings out the crazies, especially on the interwebs of being a commenting troll, people that live in their parents' basement and have 24 hours a day just to meme and troll people.
Yeah.
So tell me what it's like building a business during a time where inflation is crazy. Has the economy affected your guys' business at all? You've been able to be successful in the midst of really a time where so many businesses are closing. You guys have opened one. Tell me about that a little bit.
So for affecting us, our sector hasn't seemed to have a bunch of affecting. The biggest thing is because of Alaska shipping.
Yeah.
And so the shipping to Alaska is where we got the biggest bump. And we did have to bump our prices a little bit to deal with the shipping. But other than that, everything for us has been able to stay the same. Like the 2020 we started and we were doing $20 t-shirts and $40 hoodies. And then I think we went 2021, we just kept it at 20. And then 2022, it was like, okay, well, we ate the shipping costs all year last year. We're going to up the price of our t-shirt. And we changed it from 20 to 25 and the hoodie stayed at 40. And then after that, it's been 2 years since we did that, and we haven't changed the price of the t-shirt starting price.
Yeah.
Wow.
Other starting the business wise, some people would say this is bad, but we avoid debt, a lot of it.
Yeah.
Like our total debt, I think in our business, we have like 40 grand in debt. And otherwise we own all of our equipment. We own our inventory. Only thing that we really have to worry about is paying for our rent and our advertising.
Yeah.
And of course payroll and all that other stuff, but like things that are taking away.
But as far as like cost of clothing and stuff, it's gone up a bit, but I don't know. It's gone up probably like for per garment style, it'd be like a quarter to 50 cents, maybe on like the higher priced items, 75 cents. But a lot of the clothing that's being made isn't being made here. Like if we were trying to buy USA made garments, you're paying like $12 for just the blank for a t-shirt. And then you got to pay the shipping and all the consumables included and da 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 da. So it turned like if you're trying to buy USA made clothing, 100%, I would say that's impacted it. But a lot of the stuff that we're buying comes from like Nicaragua. It's bit like the wholesaler is based in America, but the clothing itself is being made in like Nicaragua, Mexico, Honduras, like a lot of those types of countries. So
yeah.
And other than that, I'd say why we're getting good businesses, we just will also deal with like last minute things. And then we make really
do one-offs too. That's another thing that a lot of customization shops don't love doing. We don't love doing it too, but for us, it's a way to be, I say this story all the time when people ask us about it, but little Sally has a birthday party that's on Saturday and we have a t-shirt that's already ready to go. All you need to do is tell us what type of design you want to put on it and we can get it done for you. And we're willing to do that. And so whenever we do that for little Sally's aunt is so happy that we did that one shirt for her. But now little Sally's aunt is also the PTA head at the local elementary school, and they're going to have a fundraiser. And then those fundraising shirts are seen by SCI. And so like, it kind of just rolls like that for us.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about how, your average onboarding for a customer. Let's say somebody's going to be listening to this and think, man, I got a company thing coming up, or I got or I got an event. What does it look like for somebody to onboard with you? Is it a long process, a short process? Do you help with logos if they don't have, or design or files and all that kind of stuff if they don't have somebody in-house? Talk to me a little bit about what that process looks like.
So from step one is people got to reach out. That's always what I say. Like if you don't reach out, we can never help. We can put all the marketing in the world out there. We can do all the social media, but if you don't send us a message or call us or email, like something, just get in contact with us. That's step one. After that, it's really easy. We have an email, like an introductory email that we've made, because usually when people come in or call us or email us, they have the same 7 to 10 questions. It's, what's your minimum for this? Do you guys charge for colors? What can I get? Da, 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 da. Like all these 7 to 10 questions. They're
pricing.
Yeah. Pricing. How does this work? Da, 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 da. So the first step is I send you the introductory email. So we're all working on the same ground and we all understand like, hey, this is where we're at. This is how the business itself operates. And then we send in that email. It has our wholesalers. So if you ever wanted to go on there and look for items per se, you can do that. But onboarding, really easy. You email us the artwork. If you don't have the artwork, then we have ways to do it. There's the person that has the artwork already, but it's in a low quality format. We can do that, upgrade that artwork for you. If you have an idea, but you're not very artistic and you just are like, hey, here's some chicken scratch. This is kind of my vision. Then you can just literally chicken scratch it on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be pretty. We can send that to our artist. They'll make that. My favorite person is the person that comes in and they say, hey, I'm with this organization. I don't really know anything about da 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 da, but here's the event. And this is what we need to make artwork for this. We have that too. But with the thing that I think is really helpful as far as like the onboarding process and makes people feel comfortable with us is we do a proposal system. So we send you mock-ups with your artwork already on the garments that you're going to be purchasing or you want to purchase. And so they get to see it before they approve and pay. And so it makes it to where a lot of customers have come in and they said, hey, I've done shirts in the past, but I've tried to do it, but I wasn't really happy with it with this other person or with this other company because I didn't really know what I was getting. I just told them what I wanted and then they did what they know how to do. And I just kind of crossed my fingers and hoped that I was getting what I wanted. And so this proposal system that we have in place makes it almost 100 out of 100. Like I think we've had one issue before with somebody, but it's if they're following instructions and they're actually reading what we're sending them, then it's a success. It's 100 out of 100. But it makes it to where they know what they're getting, we know what they're wanting, and then we can execute on that without any problems or pauses in it. But yeah, if they just get in contact, if they have artwork, awesome. If they don't, we can do it. And then the proposal kind of seals the deal. It's like the last check. And after we do that, that can all happen in an afternoon too. So it's just a matter, like how I always tell customers, like, they're like, how fast can we get it done? It's like, well, how prepared are you? If you have all of your ducks in a row, awesome. We can get it done very quickly. I can order the clothing. I can have it here next day aired. You're going to pay some more for shipping, but like we can make it happen pretty quick. But yeah, I could keep going on forever about it. So I'll shut up because I know you got more questions for us.
So what are your guys' thoughts on social media? Because, you guys have a really great social media presence. I think it's you guys got thousands of followers. You've utilized social media in a way that probably drives some business to y'all. Talk to me about your thoughts on social media and how important that is for small businesses in Alaska to be able to utilize.
Want me to take it? Okay.
The reason social media looks like it does.
Yeah. Trent is not the big social media guy. He hates doing all that type of stuff, but I've brainwashed him into thinking that it is a need. It's a must because I really believe it is. So Trent was saying when we started in 2020, we got big into reading books. Like I was never a big reader and Trent was, and he kind of pushed me to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And once I read that, it was like, okay, if I got enough like perspective growth just out of this one book, then imagine what I could get with reading more. And so Gary Vee had one called Crushing It. And I know Gary Vee is like a total cringe figure. He's even a cringy figure to us now, but he kind of planted that in our heads as like, hey, you need to be posting stuff all the time. You need to be doing. And so now he's talking about day trading attention. And it's a huge thing. If you're not putting yourself out there and you're not showing people what you're doing, then how do you expect them to even know that you do that? Like word of mouth is awesome. Locally, word of mouth has springboarded us into rooms that we would have never been in. But because we did, like I said, with like little Sally's mom or aunt, then we're in that room. But social,
something where I think it is just a great way to communicate what we do, not so much as even sell people.
Yeah,
because we don't have to sell them as long as they understand what we do. Then they sell themselves. And so as long as we use social media to make people understand that we are the guys that will make them their custom clothing or their t-shirts, their hoodies, so that whenever they think about that type of stuff, hopefully we're the first thing that pops in their head.
And to piggyback on Trent, so one of the things that really made us think like, hey, we need to be advertising, and not even advertising, but like marketing what we do, is I don't know what book it was, but there was a book that said something to the effect of like, when you think of snacks, what do you think of?
chips.
Or chips, what do you think of? And so I immediately was like, Lay's potato chips. That's what goes to my head. And the book was explaining like why it is the psychology behind Lay's potato chips has brainwashed us to think that when you think chips, you think Lay's. So in our head, it was like, well, when you think custom clothing, custom hats, custom gear in general, we want you to think Walden Bros. And so how do we do that? And a big part of it is posting on social media. We're not much TikTok guys because I never really, I don't know, I'm not like a big identified word type person, but like I never identified with TikTok. It was never something to me. It was more of like a 14-year-old kid type platform. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong. And Gary Vee would dump on me right now. But I just
Well,
never
I
loved
think
it.
your guys' social media stuff is awesome. 25 minutes here has gone by in a flat. Question, but to get tell us all your details, phone number, website, social media stuff. I'll put it in the podcast description for folks listening, but for folks that are maybe driving and want to take a mental note, tell us about how to get in touch with you.
So you can call us at 907-394-5510 or text us. Yep. Social medias, our Instagram is at Walden Bros. Facebook is, I believe, just Walden Bros.
Yeah.
Yep. And then if you want to go to our website has a ton of answers to the questions that most people have. It's waldenbros.store. And our email, that's a really good place to get a hold of us. I live and die by email. waldenbros2020@gmail.com, and you spell Walden Walden.
Nice. Well, Trent and Trevor, we wish you nothing but success here from Must Read Alaska. Folks listening in, you got a big event, a small event, a medium-sized event, and you need shirts, hats, t-shirts, hoodies. You're going to want to check out Walden Bros. We'll put all the links in the podcast description for you to go check out. And we want to thank everybody that listens, watches, and reads Must Read Alaska. If you want to help keep the lights on here, just go to mustreadalaska.com. On the right-hand side, there's a little donate button. Every $5, $10, $100 helps keep the lights on here at Must Read Alaska. If you want to sponsor the show, just email me, John, JOHN, at mustreadalaska.com. And again, thank you so much, Trent and Trevor, for joining us here on the Must Read Alaska show. Until next time, I'm John Quick from somewhere in Alaska. Thanks, guys.
See you, John.